912 Sports, Southeast Georgia's #1 source for high school sports. Welcome to On Air with 912 Sports, a weekly look at high school sports in Southeast Georgia, featuring coaches, players, and journalists who know the ins and outs of prep athletics. Presented by the award-winning writers and broadcasters of 912 Sports, and sponsored by Coastal Pines Technical College, Robbie Robertson Ford in Waycross, Kim Smoke, licensed realtor with Crossway Realty, Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery, Prime South Bank, and Gibson Animal Clinic. Now, this week's headline.
Waycross has been chosen as the site of this year's Media Day event. Just 6 more weeks until 912 Sports' 7th annual Southeast Georgia High School Football Media Day. Mark your calendar. Join us Saturday, July 31st in Waycross. One of the most dominant programs in the state is in Waycross on the 912. We'll check in with the Ware County Riflery team. We'll also have a roundup of area high school football teams and what they've been up to this summer. But next, we check in with Terror Camp, Glen Academy's youth camp to teach football basics to youngsters.
It makes sense Prime South Bank would have a great mobile app. Nobody is as mobile as our customers. For a century, they've chased dreams, followed their hearts, took the road less taken, made a new path, taken leaps of faith. At Prime South, offering the latest digital banking, secure pay apps, and new online lending is part of a mobile tradition that goes way back. Life is mobile. So is Prime South. Find your Prime. Member FDIC.
Gibson Animal Clinic is ready to help with your animals. From cats to dogs to horses, we treat them all. Call on us for grooming, bathing, boarding, and more serious things like surgery, dentistry, spay, neuter, immunizations, heartworm prevention, flea control, complete lab testing, radiology, preventive health care. Call us at 285-7678. Open Saturdays for your convenience. Gibson Animal Clinic. Practical solutions with reasonable fees. Russell J. Gibson, DVM.
Gibson Animal Clinic, 108 Riverside Drive, across from Harvey's in Waycross.
Hablamos español en nuestra clínica.
The Brunswick High Lady Pirates basketball team attended an elite camp at Valdosta State earlier this week and won 2 of the 3 games they played. Brunswick's Shanae Jackson was picked for the camp's all-star team, while BHS player Shemaya Flanders was selected as the MVP for the camp. A summertime tradition returned to the Golden Isles this week as the Robert Sapp baseball camp took place on St. Simon's Island and in Brunswick. This is the 40th year of the camp, conducted by Sapp, a former Glen Academy player who went on to an ultra-successful career as a national championship-winning coach at Middle Georgia College before also coaching at the University of Georgia, where he played after high school. Sapp, now 80 years old, has seen several generations of Brunswick High Pirates, Glen Academy Red Terrors, and also Frederica Academy Knights go through his camp on the coast, including current St. Louis Cardinals veteran pitcher Adam Wainwright. Former Glen County Schools Athletic Director Charlie Jordan recently earned a huge honor as he was inducted into the Georgia Athletic Directors Association Hall of Fame. Jordan oversaw athletics in Glen County from 1999 to 2004 after serving as head football coach and athletic director at Shiloh High School in Gwinnett County for many years. Brunswick High School rising junior Jamal Merriweather drew some attention at last week's mega and elite camps hosted by Florida State. More than 2,000 players were there to work out for some 70 college coaches from different levels. In a report from the camp by 247 Sports, which mentioned under-the-radar prospects who had limited interest from FBS schools going into the workouts, Merriweather, who they had playing offensive line, was listed as one of the standouts. At 6'7" and 265 pounds, he was said to have quick feet and a vast upside. It was noted that Merriweather plays at the same high school as Florida State's coveted offensive line target Kanye Charlton, who has told 912 Sports he could announce his school choice by late June or early July.
All right, we're here with Coach Rocky Hidalgo with Glen Academy Football. And Coach, thanks for giving us your time here during your youth camp. I know this is a 3-day camp, morning sessions only, so you only have a short time with the kids out there on the field. So What are you really teaching the kids here this week about football?
Teaching, the biggest thing is how to survive the heat because it's so hot out there. I mean, the biggest thing for us is we want the kids to come out and have fun. We want them to, a lot of these kids, it's the first time they'll have a chance to be around football. So there's a lot of these guys that haven't played yet. We want them to come out and have a great experience. For the most part, we have them moving around between all the different positions. So kids will play offensive line, wide receiver, quarterback, running back, and we do all those things. So we just basically a general knowledge of football, but really just to be around some kids who love to play, our players and our coaches out there to have some enthusiasm so they'll get excited and hopefully sign up for the Glenn County Rec Department.
So when you're teaching these kids the fundamentals of football, how do you kind of make it fun and interesting for them where they may not realize it, but they're learning some of the basic skills while having fun at the same time?
Well, I think it's just that. You have to be creative with it. I think if your coaches have enthusiasm, your kids will be enthusiastic for what you want to do. We want to go out and we want to laugh and joke and have fun at practice. And so our practices is probably a lot looser than most people's practices, I would say, than most of the practices I've been to. So a lot of folks probably would come to our practice and go, I can't believe these guys are winning region championships because it's a little different. But that's what I want. I want our kids to understand that our coaches enjoy to be around them, and they love the game of football. And I think one of the reasons we've had success here and we've been able to win playoff games is because we never get to a position where our coaches or our players feel like the season is a grind. We want our kids having fun. As long as our kids want to show up and come to practice, I think we'll have a chance to win games in the playoffs.
Just talk about the way the money comes back into your program and what you guys do with it to benefit Red Terror football throughout the year.
Well, I think it's like anything else. It costs a lot of money to run a football program. We've got a lot of kids out for football right now, 140 plus kids, and those kids will cost close to $800 to feed, outfit, and provide everything that we do for our kids over the football season. So anything that we make, we're always trying to hustle and raise money. So because we want to be able to compete with the best programs in the state who have, six-figure budgets, and we try to manage that here. I think our community's done a great job supporting the program. We'll take this money here and it'll go to things like equipment for our kids or feeding our kids, and those, we spend, $25,000 a year feeding our football team. That's a big chunk of our budget every year, so something like this will offset that.
Coach, obviously, you never can get with the kids too young. A camp like this is really a good PR tool to introduce kids to Red Terror football. So when you get the kids out, they might not necessarily be wearing red and white. Y'all may encourage it, but never too early to introduce the kids to Terrortown and Glenn Academy football, is it? Well,
I agree. I think kids, if they start to identify with Glenn Academy, they want to be a Red Terror when they're 9 years old. There's going to be a high likelihood that they're going to be a Red Terror when they're 14, 15, 16. I think the majority of our kids who are out here are kids that has owned Glenn Academy, and I think that we push the flyers out in the schools that feed our schools. I think most of these kids are going to show up here one day and play for us. But I think it's exciting for them to kind of have contact with me and some of our coaches. So when they come up here as 8th graders and 9th graders, they already know some of these guys.
And do you see any possible 3- or 4-star running backs or linebackers or wide receivers or safeties out there running around right now?
I hope so. I hope there are some out there. There's some really good athletes out there. And my son, a lot of his friends are out here, and they're on the all-star baseball team here, and he plays football with them. We're on the all-star football team. A lot of those kids are out here with us right now. There's a lot of good players in that young, those 8, 9, 10, 11-year-old group of kids. There's a lot of good players in the county, and a bunch of them are out here. So we're hoping for them.
And Coach, obviously you're doing this camp right off the dead week for Georgia High School Association. Really, you're starting to get down to the summer grind of putting a team together for the upcoming season. Fall camp, official fall camp, not really all that far away. What is on the horizon for Glenn Academy football as you work your way toward the preseason camp here in the early weeks of summer?
Well, the first thing I do is I hate the word grind. Absolutely hate it. I hate when people use it in association with football. The word grind has negative connotations. It means tearing something up and grinding it down. I don't like the word with it. Me coming into work is not a grind. I'm excited about coming into work on our kids to come in and be excited. I hate when football coaches use the word grind because it applies negative thinking to the game of football, and that's not what we want to do. We want our kids to come in here and work hard, not because it's a grind, because they're motivated to win championships, come in here and represent our school and our community. Football season's right around the corner here. We're hard at work. We're, putting in a new offense. Got a lot of kids. We're replacing a lot of really good players on defense. I like our kids. I think we have a really good group of kids. The kids show up every day. We don't have a lot of problems on our football team. I like what we're doing, where we're kind of shifting our offensively a little bit. I think it's going to be really good for us. We've got a lot of work to do in regards to that. But, we still have 6 weeks in the summer to kind of get all that stuff in. But, I think we're going to have a Glen Academy Red Terror football team. We'll go out there and win football games. We're going to play great defense, be good in special teams. We're going to knock people's teeth in their mouth and represent our school and put on some red and white and go have some fun with it.
Well, that's what we expected to kind of hear. There's about 1 million things we could ask you along those lines, but we'll save those for later, and we appreciate your time today, Coach.
Go get them.
All right.
Play it loud and rev it up. Robbie Robertson's got trucks built for tough.
Make your way to Robbie Robertson Ford in Waycross, where the deals are bigger than ever. Looking for a stylish midsize car, a spacious SUV, or a truck that performs at work and play? Robbie Robertson wants your vehicle and is paying top dollar. Now is the time to buy. Fords are cheaper in the swamp.
At Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery, you don't have to be an athlete to get the region's best orthopedic care. Our board-certified orthopedic surgeons and physicians treat injuries and conditions that affect just about any joint or bone in your body. Plus, we're backed by the support of Southeast Georgia Health System. From fracture repair to joint replacement, Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery will get you moving again. Call 1-855-ASK-SGHS. That's 1-855-275-7447 or visit sghs.org/summit.
Hey, do you remember high school football?
Yes.
Well, it's just 6 more weeks until 912 Sports kicks off the 2021 football season with the 7th annual 912 Sports Connection Southeast Georgia High School Football Media Day, presented by Coastal Pines Technical College. Saturday, July 31st, 2021, from 9 a.m. until noon at Memorial Stadium in Waycross. With coaches and players representing all these teams from throughout Southeast Georgia and the 912 area code. They will discuss their outlook for the season and what to expect when the leather starts popping. This year, we're back live and in person. We'll gather at Memorial Stadium in Waycross for fun and football on a Saturday morning. Come find out about your favorite Southeast Georgia high school football team going into the season. The 7th annual 912 Sports Connection Media Day presented by Coastal Pines Technical College. Join us that Saturday morning, July 31st, from 9 a.m. until noon. The event is free, so we encourage you to invite all your friends to come on down to this event. Back again this year is the great cornhole competition between the coaches. This year, the winning coach gets a Lang fire ring customized for his team. Ben Lang with Lang Cookers and Smokers has graciously donated the fire ring for one skillful coach who has the touch in a competitive game of cornhole. We'll have a short tournament to determine the winner. We're looking forward to another great 912 Sports Connection event and appreciate your support of 912 Sports. If you have any questions, call or email Sean Smoke. We look forward to seeing everyone Saturday, July 31st from 9 until noon at Memorial Stadium in Waycross. It's the 7th annual 912 Sports Connection Southeast Georgia High School Football Media Day presented by Coastal Pines Technical College.
We are well into June, and high school football teams from around the 912 are deep into summer workouts. On Air with 912 Sports wanted to know what some of the teams were doing to get better for the fall 2021 football season, and here's what we found. In Homerville, the Clinch County Panthers have been concentrating on conditioning and sending kids to different camps. Coach Don Tyson said a lot of focus has been getting the middle school program going, and the coach has been extremely pleased with the progress. The Panthers have thrown against a few teams in 7-on-7 tournaments and have 2 OTAs scheduled in Ware County. Now we head over to Richmond Hill, where the Wildcats have traveled throughout the East Coast, camping in front of college coaches. The team's major emphasis has been on training in the weight room and execution on the field. Coach Matt Lizotte said the Wildcats have averaged over 115 athletes daily for summer workouts. In Ludowici, the Long County Blue Tide have 60 players working out 3 days a week. That'll go to 4 days a week after the second dead period. New coach Mike Pfister says he's looking forward to seeing significant improvement in the product on the field this season. 10 Blue Tide players attended the Kennesaw State Mega Camp last week, headed up by former UGA player and now head coach Brian Bohannon. Here in the Swamp, the Ware County Gators are in their second week of summer workouts. Ware County hosted a 7-on-7 tournament yesterday in Waycross. Coach Jason Strickland said the Gators will host a padded OTA camp with Richmond Hill, Jeff Davis, and Clinch County next Wednesday. Now we travel to Hinesville, where Coach Kurt Warner and the Liberty County Panthers are working hard and scrimmaging to get better. They will throw at some 7-on-7s a few times this summer and get ready to put on the pads in August. In Springfield, the Effingham County Rebels are welcoming new head coach John Ford. Players have been working out in the weight room, doing speed, agility, and quickness drills, and continuing the process of installing the new coach's offense and defensive schemes. Down in Camden County, the Wildcats have been practicing and lifting these last few weeks. Legendary coach Jeff Herron is back at the helm and today led the Cats to their first padded camp with Mandarin, Rebolt, and Bradwell. They'll go to camp next week, and then after the dead week, they will resume football activities at home. Over in Douglas, the Coffee County football team is in its second week of summer workouts. Their players have worked hard in the weight room and on agility and conditioning, as well as participating in a couple multi-team passing workouts. Many Trojan players have attended specialty camps, and several seniors have taken unofficial visits to college campuses. Next week, Coach Robbie Pruitt and the Trojans will travel to Brunswick for the 6-team Glen Academy OTA before the 4th of July dead week. As you can see, football teams all over the 912 are working hard, and for good reason. After all, football games are not won in the fall, they're won in the summer. I'm Sean Smoke reporting for On Air with 912 Sports.
Hello everybody, this is Kevin Price for On Air with 912 Sports, reporting from one of our 912 studios. If you follow Southeast Georgia High School baseball, you might know that we cover and broadcast Glen Academy baseball on our Golden Isles baseball package. And of course, if you follow high school baseball here in Southeast Georgia, you might be aware that Glen Academy has been without a head baseball coach since late May, when Trent Mangiero, who spent the last 4 years with the Red Terrors, announced his retirement from teaching and coaching at Glen Academy after leading the Red Terrors to the Class 6A quarterfinals this past spring. We had a feature segment on Coach Mangiero on our debut show On Air with 912 Sports 2 weeks ago, and during that segment, we made the announcement that we thought the head coaching search, after talking with Glen County school officials, may wrap up sometime between mid-June and the end of the month. Well, talking to Glen County Schools Athletic Director Steve Waters earlier this week, he informed me that the coaching search is indeed near an end. The job post has been taken down from the Glen County Schools website. Interviews with the finalists have been done, and a coaching decision is close to being made. The job very well could be offered this week. If accepted by the candidate it is offered to, it could be approved by the school board this week and announced publicly before even the weekend. Now, Coach Waters told me there was a deep pool of applicants that applied for the job, as many as 30 candidates or close to 30 candidates put their name in the applicant pool. Some trustworthy sources that I consider reliable, have told me that at least 5 finalists interviewed for the job, 2 from the local area, also a head coach from the Fayette County School District, and 2 coaches from the Gwinnett County School District. So, of course, Glenn Academy has been without a head baseball coach for close to a month now, and it looks like that coaching decision will be made, a job will be offered, and an announcement could come very soon. Of course, we are interested in who gets that job because of our relationship with Glenn Academy Baseball, covering the Red Terrors and broadcasting their games here on 912sports.net. So as soon as we know who the coach is, we'll let you know who the coach is. And if this job announcement were to come down at the end of this week or certainly early next week, before our next show, we do hope to have an in-depth segment with the coach next week right here on air with 912 Sports. But for now, that's the latest with the Glenn Academy Red Terror baseball coaching search. So for On Air with 912 Sports, reporting from Brunswick, I'm Kevin Price.
Gibson Animal Clinic is ready to help with your animals. From cats to dogs to horses, we treat them all. Calling us for grooming, bathing, boarding, and more serious things like surgery, dentistry, spay, neuter, immunizations, heartworm prevention, flea control, complete lab testing, radiology, preventive health care. Call us at 285-7678. Open Saturdays for your convenience. Gibson Animal Clinic. Practical solutions with reasonable fees. Russell J. Gibson, DVM.
Gibson Animal Clinic, 108 Riverside Drive, across from Harvey's in Waycross.
Hablamos español en nuestra clínica.
High schoolers, did you know that you can get a head start on your college career and save money at the same time through dual enrollment at Coastal Pines Technical College? Dual enrollment is open to high school juniors and seniors, tuition free. Talk to your high school counselor or visit coastalpines.edu for more information. Coastal Pines Technical College, an equal opportunity institution. Go Coastal. And now we head to Waycross, home of the Ware County Gators.
Riflery is one of the more unique sports in Georgia High School Sports Association. It's one of the few sports where male and female students compete against one another directly on the same playing field. It's an expensive sport with a lot of equipment and moving parts. It takes a big commitment from a school's athletic department, coaches, and parents alike to be successful. Despite the obstacles, riflery is a growing sport in popularity in the 912, with several schools adding riflery over the last several years. But the model program that everybody wants to shoot for, pun intended, is the Ware County Gators. The Gators have won 3 of the last 4 state championships and have a 2-time individual state champion who just graduated. On Air with 912 Sports was able to talk to the Gators.
Coach, you've been coaching in riflery for over 40 years. You have 17 4-H state championships, 5 state championships in GHSA, and it's safe to say you've seen thousands of shooters over your career. What qualities make up a good shooter?
They've got to have dedication. They got to be willing to practice. They've got to be willing to listen. They got to keep their grades up with everything else so they're on track.
This sport, Coach, is one of the few sports that males and females compete on the same playing field, so to speak. What is it that allows both genders to be very successful in this sport?
They can compete against each other, and each one trying to prove that they're better than the other.
Well, listen, if I'm a student in the Ware County school system and I want to get involved with the riflery team, when should I be looking to do that, and how can I do that?
I start taking them in the 8th grade.
Okay.
They cannot compete on the varsity level, but it gives them a step up where they'll know what's going on. They shoot the same practice, they shoot the same matches and everything that the high school kids do. So it's we go to the schools at the beginning of the year and make announcements and try to get them. Again, they've got to be dedicated. They find out riflery starts on the 7th day of August, and ends the last of July. So it's pretty well a 12-month sport, and you can't play football, basketball, cheerleading, band, and stuff like that and be on the rifle team.
Right. It's just too much ask of you to be a part of this. Well, Coach, you've had some very, very good people that's come through this program, all the way back to the first state championship, or the I guess it was 2017. Right on up to the 2019 state championship. But talk a little bit about some of those kids and what it's taken for them to be kind of at the pinnacle of the sport.
Well, the first one I'd like to mention would be Dan Hughes.
Mm-hmm.
Dan started in the 22 rifle program probably about 24 years ago. He was fortunate enough to, I knew the coach at the Navy Academy. I got him in the Navy Academy. I went on and made a career out of it. Went way up in the rank. There was Kimberly Nettles. Kimberly went from here to North Georgia College, where she set all kinds of records and stuff up there. The only student from North Georgia College that was ever picked to shoot on the NCAA competition. Lacey, you just can't say enough about her. She had the opportunity to go to West Point. She decided she'd rather go closer home. She has joined the National Guard, where she'll still be in the military part of it, and going on with her shooting sports. It's just, there've been a lot of them. I've got probably 5 or 6 that's went into law enforcement. Some that's went into the military. All kinds of high degrees and stuff that they've accomplished.
Well, Coach, you've got some big shoes to fill. Talk a little bit about that rising class that's coming in for the 2021 season.
Right now, we only lost 2 shooters. So we've got some shooters coming up that, and like I said, they're going to be hard shoes to fill.
Commitment is a word you hear associated with all riflery programs across the state of Georgia, and you'd be hard-pressed to find a better example of commitment than Coach Dwayne Caswell. Whether it's his knowledge and expertise gained at the riflery range or his 30-plus years on the Waycross Police Department, Coach Caswell shares his talents with the shooters of the Ware County Gators.
I got hooked up with the rifle team back in 1998 when 2 of my children shot on the rifle team, and they made the all-state team, and they were part of those first 2 championship teams. And I would drop in from time to time and help out when I could. And when I retired, it just seemed like a natural thing to keep showing up.
Yeah. Well, what is your role here with the team? What is your specialty as far as the coaching goes?
I'm Coach England's assistant, and basically I work with the kids, and Coach England handles all of the fancy stuff. I just help the kids out, and I do a lot of gun repair and keeping things working.
And that's what a lot of people don't understand. I mean, this is an expensive sport, a lot of moving parts, a lot of machinery, a lot of guns, that sort of thing. And talk a little bit about how, what the role is of keeping all that stuff going.
Well, we have never charged anybody for anything. The equipment's provided, the pellets are provided, the venue to shoot in is provided, and to keep it that way, we spend a lot of time fixing stuff that's broken and keeping everything working, and making sure that we find enough sponsors and grants and funding to, because the school doesn't actually provide all of the money that's necessary.
Exactly.
One of the most prolific shooters in the program's history won her first state title as a freshman. She followed it up with her second state title back-to-back as a sophomore. She was robbed of her junior year, like so many student athletes, of the chance to compete due to the worldwide pandemic. In 2021, Gator senior Lacey Jewell finished her senior season as the runner-up at the GHSA State Championship. We had a chance to ask Lacey about her awesome career.
What got you involved with shooting, and who do you give credit to introducing you to shooting?
Well, when I was about, I'd say 5 or 6 years old, my grandpa, my late grandpa now, got me started with an old BB gun. We sat Coke cans out in the road ditch and we would shoot at those. He'd pump it for me because I couldn't pump it by myself, and he'd sit there for hours and let me shoot, and that's about it.
But in the sport of shooting, how important is your equipment, and how much does the environment play a factor?
The equipment is very important. You can get cheap equipment or you can get the top dollar equipment, and it is very much worth it to spend a little bit of extra money to get it because it helps with stability and just different stuff like that. And if you don't have that, you don't shoot good, you know.
Right.
And the environment is also very important. When you're in a new environment, it is very stressful. It does make you shake a little bit more. Your nerves are a little bit, you know, upset. And it does affect the way that you shoot, but once you understand that doesn't matter, it doesn't matter where you're at or who's around watching or anything, that you become a good shooter whenever you realize that. You're able to.
Well, I brought up the environment thing because really the first 2 years when you won a state championship, it was over in Columbus. This year, for whatever reason, they changed the venue on everybody and went to Griffin. Do you think that played a part in your in your shooting?
Not really. I've been to a lot of different places, and I kind of got used to the different environments and just being able to understand that it's the same thing, it's the same gun, the same lane, it's the same thing no matter where you're at shooting.
Well, what advice, Lacey, would you give to an incoming freshman who was thinking about making this his or her sport of choice?
I would definitely encourage it. You meet a lot of new people, make good friendships, and you become like a family, honestly. But I have enjoyed it, and it's sad to leave, but I'm excited for the next chapter.
Right. Well, that leads me into my next question. You've had a great career here at Ware County High, 2 state championships and 3 state appearances. We all know we got robbed last year with COVID of everything, but what's next for Lacey Jewell?
I recently joined the National Guard, and I ship out on August 17th to go to basic training, and then once I get back in January, I will start at UNG to start my healthcare career and shoot for them.
All right, well, good deal. Well, congratulations. We look forward to following you along. You're following in Kimberly Nettles' footsteps. I believe that's where she went to school, so she was very successful up there. So we wish you the best, and thanks for being here on 912 Sports, on air with 912 Sports.
Thank you.
The Gators will have big shoes to fill with Lacey Jewell moving on to the next chapter of her life. But Coach England and Coach Caswell have faced this situation before and have kept right on rolling. The Gator program is in good hands, and I have no doubt the winning tradition will continue at Ware County High School. 912 Sports would like to thank Jennifer Carter Johnson for providing the photos of Lacey Jewell. For On Air with 912 Sports, I'm Sean Smoke. Thanks for watching.
This has been On Air with 912 Sports. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back next week with more coverage of Southeast Georgia high school sports. On Air with 912 Sports has been brought to you by Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery, Prime South Bank, Gibson Animal Clinic, Coastal Pines Technical College, Robbie Robertson Ford in Waycross, and Kim Smoke, licensed realtor with Crossway Realty. This has been a presentation of 912 Sports, Southeast Georgia's #1 source for high school sports.